Uh, can you help me understand what exactly is happening?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, honestly, that does sound something like what could be happening. I don't know if I agree that that's how it will ultimately play out. And you're all the way cammed up, American man. I don't know if you know that. Um,
No, no, I know. I'm driving, so I'm fine.
I got you. I got you. But no, I was just saying that Black America, it seems to have to some degree anyway, iced itself out. It's not that Trump isn't going to be responsive to some kind of black issues, because his last time around, he wasn't necessarily unkind to the black vote. He was definitely making appeals to Black America. It's not so much that. I just think
No,
that the nature of black politics is kind of rejective of what's healthy for Black America. Like, just something about
yes,
black politics is counterproductive, and that's different from the Trump issue.
yes. Well, I agree with that, right? But let's remember when Ice Cube presented to Trump, Trump actually had him in. I mean, not Trump himself, but people working with Trump actually had him in, right? And Kamala told him, "Nah, nigga, kick rocks." Well, the Biden administration. I don't want to blame Kamala unfairly. The Biden administration told him kick rocks. So I think there's still an opportunity, but I don't expect much from black people but to sabotage themselves. To be honest, look at what's happening in the schools in New York, which I've known about for a while. Look at what's happening in the schools, and the black people are like, yeah, this is about kente cloth.
Mic check. Mr. O, you there? I feel like I'm having some audio issues up here. All right, mic check. Mr. O, you there? All right, Mr. O, you're gonna have to drop down. You're gonna have to drop down and come back in, bro. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with the audio here, but we got the open panel. Shout out to Dirty Folks. And like I said, I'm gonna close this down in about 10 minutes. Let's say 13 minutes. We got an even hour coming up in about 13 minutes. So I'm gonna close down the main Hood Conservative chat. And if you haven't hit the link, you're gonna miss out on the rest of the show. You gotta subscribe to the other channel. So we're gonna shut this down. So we gotta do a raid. We gotta filter everybody into the next channel over there. But that being said, shout out to Dirty Folks. What's going on, bro? The question at hand right now: Trump just ended affirmative action. Does Black America still need affirmative action? And how do you feel about that concept in general?
By my definition, Black America does need it. Um, do heterosexual men need it? No, no. The fact that it makes black women double minorities, the fact that I know people who tried to get employment and couldn't until they went to jail and came
Hey,
back with
can
a
y'all hear me?
felony. Yeah, we can now.
You
And
good
then they
now?
came.
Hold on a second.
Then they came back with a felony, and then got the job that they applied for at Ford or City Transit or whatever, because now they're a double minority because felon, right? DEI, gays, the colors, yeah, they needed it, but it's bad for America. As a heterosexual man without a parole officer, eh, DEI, I mean, affirmative action has been working against us. You know what? I had the conversation earlier today, real quick, related story. And we were explaining how the last 80 years were years of lies perpetrated by boomers and silent generation, right? And I had this whole diatribe about my grandmother, who was born in 1919, being part of the civil rights movement as a bra burner. She called herself that. I was burning bras trying to get women's rights hand in hand with a bunch of gays, right? While my grandfather was like, well, I was trying to get into the trucking union because I still had to pay these bills while my wife burning bras in between picking the kids up from school. Men weren't really involved in the civil rights movement the same way heterosexual men weren't really involved in BLM, right? So the movement was a feminist movement in the first place. So, and only women can be black. So, I mean,
I'm
take it with
glad
a
I'm
grain of
glad you
salt.
have a I'm glad you have an anecdote that can put some like life to the story because it's actually very true that most men don't really participate in like these social movements, as it were. A lot of the guys who do get wrapped up in it, it tend to be following some girl, but the women, they are emotionally attached to it in a different way that just doesn't really resonate for a lot of guys. And so it's gonna be the guys who have to like go to work every day. Guys got to deal in the practical. Women get to dream about, oh, I want to tear down the patriarchy and all that. You like if you got to go to work and pay for a wife and put kids through school, you're not concerned with tearing down a patriarchy. You're trying to work your way up through the pyramid. But Mr. O, you was having some audio issues a minute ago. You clear now?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, so the topic on the table right now is affirmative action, man. And if you haven't hit the link in the chat, we are moving the show. Everybody in the YouTube chat and the Hood Conservative channel, we are moving the show to the backup channel. So make sure to hit that link before we shut down in a minute.
All right, all right, all right. Well, affirmative action. Should I even give a care? I mean, once upon a time ago, black men actually marched for this thing called affirmative action for us to provide for our families, but actual meaning to it. Going against the so-called system, the white, the you know what I'm saying, strings with nice little cute signs. I'm a man. You know, say even with revisionist history, the BW is right there holding our hands. You know, what I'm saying we pick a fight in the chest with the so a bad white man. You know, unfortunately, she basically puts us out the way to take our spot after we had supposed rights and ones crying them and the rest of the gons, even Karen, Becky and Karen that used it the most and get benefited most off our black asses, they are actually crying. I love it. I love black and white women feminist tears. I love it. It Rick and Lemon, by the way, just about and not to get too sidetracked. Again, as a free thinking straight black man, how has affirmative action benefit me? And since the answer, give a damn, along with diversity, equity, and inclusion of these nuts.
That's the other point I wanted to raise, and that's why I included that news story about the Jewish people in New York City. And this is a local program, it has nothing to do with federal affirmative action, but still, like you get the point. Under the umbrella of equity and equality, all these, let me not even frame it like equity and equality. All of these social programs, who at their heart, at their essence, they were started to level some kind of playing field that existed between Black America and white America. And by attaching themselves to the Black struggle, this is a point Ann Coulter has made several times. By attaching themselves to the Black struggle, or labeling themselves, because now what's happened is it's not even a Black struggle anymore. Once we get called people of color, once it moves from Black civil rights to broad equality for everybody, it no longer becomes about the debt that America allegedly owes black people because of slavery, right? And now you get all these other groups who can call themselves minorities, right? It's people of color and minorities is the next step, right? Because now once you go to minorities, you can allow white women who are not people of color, and they're not a minority technically either. White women are a majority of the white vote, and they get somehow shoehorned into this protected group, and it becomes a problem of having protected groups in and of itself, which is the heart of affirmative action,
Now,
right?
now,
Having
now,
yeah, you want to
I,
jump in?
I, I want to do revisionist history right now with the white women and women in general regarding that subject. Can we actually that when they was talking about women being the minority, are we talking about the if we are talking about the original feminists of the late 60s going into the late 70s, one day stand those.
I
Well,
ain't hear
yeah, I thought it was just me. You were fading in and out a lot while you're speaking, Mr. O.
that. But here's the problem with which the timeline's a problem. What you're saying is accurate. Timeline the problem. 1963, they signed the civil rights movement so black men will stop being last hired, first fired. It specifically said for black men. In 65, King died, or 67. Like in 1968, they changed it from black men to minorities, which included white women. So because they were like, there's so many places in America that never saw a black person, which there are. Go through the Quad Cities by between Iowa, Indiana. I mean Iowa,
Hell, I
Wisconsin, Illinois.
graduated with
Right,
with high
not that many
school.
black people, right? Like
Nope,
they're sundown towns, but not against blacks. Just the town shut down when the street lights come on. The gas station closed. If you don't have a credit card, you can't get gas. Like the whole
bro.
city closed down, right? So you go through those places and they say, yo, we don't even have black people here to take benefits of this program. So they brought in 1968, they brought in the white women. But the whole plan was to bring in the gays anyway. The Jewish part that they did right now, that's the overlay for the underplay. That's the massive mind fuck. I put in the back for Mr. O. Maybe I'll put it in the chat later for everybody else. There are certain myths, oral tradition myths that black people believe, like black men marched for civil rights, which we didn't. If I put the link in, this is a regular link, bro, for putting in civil rights and look at the pictures. The only black men who marched were the pastors who benefited, the Martin Luther Kings, the Jesse Jacksons,
Mega Evers.
the people who ended up getting that Urban League money, and I hate the Urban League so much they thieving like a motherfucker.
Or they
And
in that 9 millimeter with the metal jacket to the lungs.
bro, even with that, the heterosexual men at that time, even though they were cuckold, they didn't want to be part of the civil rights movement. That's kind of how the Black Panther thing happened. It was like an offshoot of you ain't gonna beat me up and get me bit by dogs and tell me because I got beat up I'm a hero. You won the fight because you got water holes. That ain't how winning fights work. So you had the divide in real time in the late 60s, right? Heterosexual men were not part of that movement. They're not in any of the photos that you've ever seen. You always see a bunch of white women because white women love to save stuff.
Uh-huh.
Save the whale, save the dog, save the Negro. They love saving
A.R.
stuff.
Rustin, James Baldwin,
You
Nikki
see a
Giovanni,
you see a
all them.
bunch you see a bunch of gay white men in suits because that's when gays were good. When they still were men, they just sucked a little swilly here and there. They didn't have purple hair,
I
but
don't
the
think they
gay
were
men.
good. They were oppressed, and that's the
No,
key. That's the secret sauce to a lot of what's wrong. There's not enough
okay.
That
oppression.
Okay, cool. They were socially oppressed, but they still wore pants and they didn't wear skirts. So you had a bunch of gay white men, a lot of women of all races, and the black men who benefited at those marches, right? That was it. That's the only people on the march. Man, I sent you. I didn't even send you a photo. I sent you the whole page so you can go through and scroll down and see how many black men you see who weren't pastors that actually marched. It tells you, so like BLM, right? Without the youth. So then you had in 63, it was for black men. In 68, they made it for white women. And once they had to add white women, they added black women. Do y'all remember the episode of Good Times when James Evans tried to get a job at Sears and they hired Florida because she was a double minority?
yep.
that really stopped black men from getting employment, which was the beginning of black women earning and being more employed than lower level black men. So
I'm
those
glad you brought that up. No, that's actually a great jump off point too, because the idea of minority status was sold to black people as a winner, but it wasn't really pointed out to black men. And I don't think a lot of men really caught on until generations went by. But it was actually a killer for the men because women, somehow, for reasons that don't apply to logic, they got classified as minorities. Women as a group are not minorities, right? If you want to make a woman a minority as a racial category, that's a slightly different argument. But women, broadly speaking, we produce more women from a like a regular head count goes. I think we just produce a little bit more women, but overall, women just survive longer than men. So what winds up happening is men just we lose men and boys through attrition, and we wind up having a glut of women
Conservative,
over the age of like 30.
conservative men die early because they want to.
I
I'm
know
not arguing that. I'm just
all that
stating the
nagging, man.
reality
You
of
just
women.
chill out,
There's
man.
more women around than men, especially as look at your churches. It's not like some kind of grand conspiracy that it's mostly old women, because women tend to live longer through old age.
Cause
Only because of the benefits of the men prior that made it comfortable to live that
Yeah,
way. Let's be real.
the men
I
die so the women can live longer. I'm not fighting you at all, but the women
I agree.
actually, we just have more women around in a lot of different scenarios. Like even if you go to college, right, a bunch of women around for completely different reasons, and that's just kind of the reality of it. So it's like we have a bunch of women around
No,
already,
no, hood,
and we
hood,
go out of our way to promote them.
hood. You got it all wrong. No, they don't. They don't look. They are missing their main purpose. Look, what's the whole purpose of women work at, even from the lowest of preschools up into the high institutions of higher learning? They're basically trying to curtail parenthood. They are taking care and supervising and instructing kids of that are not their own.
You know the other thing weird about that, Mr. O? 70% of the jobs that women do are the duties of a wife and mother broken down to segments: childcare, culinary, education, especially pre-K through third.
Yeah.
Uh, all of it is stuff that women are supposed to do. CNAs, the biggest philanderers ever known to man, even bigger than strippers, right? CNAs are bigger hoes than strippers, right?
Yo, that's how Diamond
They're
was.
but
What was Diamond and Players Club going to
she
school
was trying to
for?
be a CNA. But check this out. Here's the thing though. A CNA is really child care for the elderly. So it used to be that boys take care of mama when she get old, girls take care of daddy when he get old. That was part of it. Like in the 1990s and early 2000s, we didn't have sitcoms like the ugly Mexican with the pits in his face. I can't think of his name. George Lopez. He had his mom in the house. The Jeffersons. He had his mom move in. It was a bunch of you had to take care of your parents because they took care of you. Now you have CNAs because they're horrible parents and nobody wants to deal with them. So there's an entire industry to take care of older, aging, horrible parents, right? So you have an industry to take care of your kids so you can go to work, right? You have an industry to take care of your parents because you ain't want them. You have an industry to educate your kids and teach them colors. I've literally heard black women say, and this happened to be black. I'm pretty sure white women do too. That said, I don't have to teach my kids their colors or alphabet. Whatever they need to learn, they'll learn in school. If they don't learn in school, that's their job. It ain't my job to teach my kid. So the kid goes in school and can't even spell their name, and then they wonder why their kids behind, and they want to whip their kid for not knowing how to do basic skills, right? Because they're
How dare you say that we are not interested in families in the black community?
there you go. So all of these professions are
Hold
what
on, let me
you
jump in
earlier
real
do.
quick. Let me put a pause in it real quick right there because we're gonna make a little. We gotta do a little station business. Everybody, if you haven't been clicking that link, if you're in the Hood Conservative chat right now, I need you to hit that link that I've been posting. We are gonna shut this chat down in like 30 seconds, and I need you guys to move over to the backup channel. And also, if you haven't done so already, you could follow us over on Rumble. If you follow us on Rumble, you can actually support the show directly over on Rumble. So I'm going to put the Rumble link in the chat as well. But you got to move out of this main channel. This is now a dead zone. This channel, there's no life here. I can't grow here no more. So we got to move away from this place right now. So we're going to start spreading our wings to some more fertile ground. So I need you guys to move to one of these two channels. You got to follow me on Rumble, or you got to go over to the backup channel over on This Week in Oppression. And that being said, shout out to everybody listening on the Conservative channel. We are done. That show is over in 3, 2.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.
I swear he looked like Bill Bellamy.
You know who that is? That's
Who?
fucking Panda.
Oh, Panda.
Yeah, you know, I forget the rapper name. He did the Panda
Designer.
song.
Designer.
Yeah, Designer.
But it's not important. His name Panda. I know who
That
you
was
meant.
Designer.
Right,
Yeah,
his name
yeah,
Panda.
Designer.
That don't even look
His
like
name-
him.
His name Panda. That's the only song he has.
No,
Had
he
to
got
be
Timmy Turner.
I'm not even gonna entertain this colorism thing you're doing right now, sir. I don't care. But
Hey nigga,
yeah.
hold on. We gotta sit back and listen to the damn Dirty Boys from Alabama back in the fucking 90s. Well, you gonna listen to this damn Designer?
The Dirty Boys from Alabama. I don't even know who
The
that
Dirty
is.
Boys, the damn Dirty Boys. You know, everybody know who the damn Dirty Boys is. Stop playing with me, dirty folks.
I look, man. I just call myself dirty. I don't even listen to Mobb Deep because I think they sound like poverty. I don't do dirty.
Whoa,
Sir.
whoa! You was not gonna do Prodigy like that. R.I.P. to
They-
89C.
When I hear their raps, I can smell pee in the hallway, bro. It's like no, I don't.
You're supposed to. That's a part of the Prodigy New York experience. Like that's Queensbridge. You're supposed to smell the urine in the hallway. All the project elevators smell like pee after 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, man. He ain't. Man, he got them brand new. He act like he ain't never been to the Ickies. He ain't never been to the Taylors. He act like he never been to the Greens and nowhere. Man, he acting brand new.
I've been to the Hilliards and all that, bro. And every time I went, I got my little hood rat or the nickel bag of weed that I went to get for the homie, and then I left. I didn't stay. I don't know anybody.
You going there just for a nickel bag? You bad.
Whatever bag. I don't smoke weed. Whatever bag they was like, man, we're about to go on the 5150 building. I'm like, all right, and then we getting right up out of here. They got shooters on the roof. They got niggas with Uzis in the lobby. That's not my atmosphere, sir. And they probably got
that's
pissy.
the building Corey come from too.
And they probably got pee in the elevator too.
But hold on. We getting off track. We getting
right.
right.
Damn you, dirty.
We talk about affirmative action tonight.
Yeah, right.
Maybe some of these people were doing good work, as with our very contentious J6 conversation yesterday. I don't, love blanket whatever. I would like it to be a case by case basis, but overall, I'm certainly satisfied with this policy.
So let me counter your criticism of the CBC by saying, quoting Megyn Kelly on diversity initiatives. So white Jesus lady herself is not necessarily the way forward in these respects. But look, there is, I think, a problem about the definition of exactly what is meant by DEI. Where I would defend it is in relation specifically to both hiring and to making employees from different backgrounds comfortable and welcome and feeling respected in the workforce. I know just from personal experience, if you talk to, the vast majority of...
let me stop this guy right here. Here's what I just started to think about. And this is why I take issue with the majority of Black political conversations that you watch on any platform, wherever. They don't really get into deep political philosophy, right? Here's the problem. From a government standpoint, can you have a government that professes equality and justice the way the American government is supposed to, and have special subgroups that get special privileges?
You can have the nobility. The problem,
even the nobility is it's anti-American. It's almost inescapable because of the way human nature works. But technically, we created America to escape the oligarchy and the nobility. Oligarchy kind of just happens to happen, but nobility and actual royal class and their little court and all the people at their level, that's anti-American.
Okay, but it's not anti-human nature. It's human nature to want a king,
Right.
right? It's a reason that the Kennedys are treated like royalty, right? The Kennedys is as close to American
Because
royalty as you can get, right?
people turn their back on God. They rather have a represent in the flesh
Eh,
of God than to have.
I don't think well colors turned their back on God and listen, black women became God and then they turned their back on a black woman. But America's still based on Christian values, more or less. The- to answer your question, Hood, here's the problem. Black people listen to women and women don't know shit. Politics is the business of business. It's the business of making sure that your municipality has what it needs, not necessarily everything it wants, but has what it needs in order to function. That's the potholes get removed, the snow gets shoveled, blah blah blah. The water works, blah blah blah. Politics, business of business. That's why you get government contracts, the business of business. Black people just want after school program and more child support. They just want dumb shit. They want their son who's a shooter. And they want to be him to be protected from their beautician son who's also a shooter. While they both talk about how bad it is outside, but they don't need no man. They want girl shit because girls want everything and nothing at the same time.
Acadia in the chat says something interesting. I tend to lean in this direction, although it's a complicated conversation to have because we're black and things get muddied when you're saying this around black people. But Acadia says nobility is a divine institution.
Hey, highlight ancient futures comment just above the other one. The first
Ancient futures says all the African Americans who previously voted Democrat stupidly voted Republican this election. They have a record of it, meaning that LGBTQ turned on their own party. No,
Yeah, I don't
don't
think
assume too
no.
much of that. Those
No,
numbers weren't
no,
enough for me to like have a parade or a
no.
party.
No,
But
more men than women.
but this nobility issue though, this is the thing I want
Arcadia's
to talk
right.
about.
Go ahead, because I want to address that too. She
Yeah,
got
yeah.
some
Give me a second. Let me
go rock
pontificate briefly.
pontification.
Yeah, the thing about nobility, and it's
he
this
actually
ties.
was in the sentence the right way. Shout out to the great system. Shout out to the great.
Shut up. We not stupid for real. We only play stupid on the internet. But this is the thing about nobility, right? Black people have a problem with the elite issue. Like, I don't know, for some reason, like if you go to Africa, they probably have a tribe system where like the chief can have his people. Like if you watch something like Shaka Zulu, I just rewatched Shaka Zulu a couple of days ago. At least part of Shaka Zulu. I didn't watch the whole 5 hour epic, but
That's
they have an understanding of these are the noble people, these are the chiefs, but I don't know if they really take it as deep as something like what Acadia is talking about. Because I understand when white people they talk about nobility or something, there's a deep, long tradition of like unbroken bloodlines and whatnot. And I don't know if you would have something like that down in like the jungles of Southern Africa when we're talking about like Shaka Zulu or whatever. Like it's a very unstable, bloody kind of place. And so bloodlines could easily get wiped out overnight. Whereas, like, nobility from the European standpoint is an ancient thing and it comes with a lot of heavy meaning. And I don't know that Black people really conceptualize that problem. Well, Black Americans certainly don't conceptualize that reality.
How
And
come
so
we
we
don't?
have this issue.
hey,
We
hey,
have
Billy.
this issue with the elite versus the common folk in a Black America. So all Black people allegedly owe something to the average nigga in the hood because you Black too, right? White America even doesn't really have that kind of burden. And it has to do with like slavery and the civil rights movement and all that. But there is that issue of nobility isn't necessarily a bad thing when it's exercised to its potential.
Okay. Here's why I disagree. Two things. Number one, black people in America call their nobility the boule. But besides that part, nobility is phenomenal, and I'll tell you why. There's a difference between being part of the royal bloodline and the noble bloodline. Normally, to be a noble, you have to be exemplary at something. You can come from the slums and become a noble. It's based on merit, and it only lasts for 3 generations, right? Generally speaking. So your grandfather could have been a noble and you're living a noble lifestyle. But if you or your son don't do something, man, you'll lose your noble slot. Right. So you have to, not only do you have to have a great man, no DEI, no participation trophy dudes, a great man to do a great thing in a trying time to become a noble, then he has to teach his sons and his grandsons how important it is to keep that family crest in high standing for the benefits that it allows because it can be taken away. I think nobility is the, you can almost say the Senate, but I'll go with the black boule because you're talking socially, even though it works more like a Senate.
Yeah, the Senate isn't quite it, but yeah, I think the boule is some kind of
They more of a brain
rudimentary
trust.
attempt.
Oh, man, y'all get them more credit, man. They barely up,
Well,
bro.
the
They're not.
reason why the reason why we kind of disparage the boule is because they don't have that sort of noble oblige, noblesse oblige. I keep mangling that statement, but it's a phrase that describes like being a part of the noble class. You can't just prey on your people all the time. You have to do something that actually keeps your population going. Because
Now,
think of it like this: like if you're a slave and if you're a slave owner and you only beat your slaves, you don't really care for them, you don't house them, you don't feed them, you're actually going to lose whatever economic investment that you bought the slaves to begin with. So ownership of your property, that's the argument that what's the name was making earlier in the show when I was playing that the clip. Ownership of your property would, and it endears you to the property in a certain way where you have to provide for it because this is yours now, and you don't. Nobody wants to lose a thing, especially a thing that's meant to profit them. And so, because you take a position of ownership of something, you have to steward it. Right? Stewardship is actually the correct term for it. And so,
That
when
would
it
be,
comes to the nobility thing, there is a responsibility of stewardship, and you don't really get that from the boule.
you know why? I could tell you why. As a boule kid, I could tell you why.
why?
The American boule started in, let's say, 1880, 1890, right? The Ida B. Wells generation, CJ Walker generation, right? CJ Walker's an interesting story too. Her daughter blew the whole $15 million
Mm-hmm.
fortune, right?
Mm-hmm. I love
Which
it. I love it.
which goes back to what I'm about to say, right? So my great grandfather being one of the founding members of Evanston, Illinois, like his name rings. Samuel White's name still rings to the point that Samuel White the fourth can get a job off of Sam White's name 100 years later in that town, right? His daughters were in politics. They were the township supervisors. They were aldermen. His grandson was a congressman and an alderman. His other grandson was the youngest. What is now he's a school board president. Here's what happened after, actually with the original Sam White. He decided, fuck my sons. I want to give everything to my daughters because I love my daughters. No man's good enough. Everything goes to my daughter. That's why his daughters are boule, even though his name still rings for his great grandsons. His the boomers came through. The boomers are so androgynous. They wanted to give it all to a girl because they're the only good man. That's the Bobby Womack generation, right? Like, I just want to sleep with your wife. So they don't really have friends. They don't have interpersonal relationships like that. They just go off titles. You're a lawyer. You're a
Not the
doctor.
Jermaine Stewart generation, sir. The Jermaine Stewart generation.
Right,
Yeah,
but
I was just over of I was on Izzy's channel or whatever, and I kicked up a whole shitstorm because I pointed out, when I first got there, the dude the scent guard was up there, and so I started typing in the chat, is this show about sentiment? And so I wound up coming on the panel because he kept asking me to come up or whatever, and I raised the issue that every time there's these co-ed panels in the Black manosphere, you guys like there's this tendency for the men to gather up and sort of shield the women from something that's not even going to hurt them, because it's not like we really about to fight a girl on a panel, right? This is all words over the internet. Nobody's going to get hurt here. but that same protective instinct is always there. And I wound up leaving the panel because I had to do my own show. Plus, the nigga kept asking me for money and shit. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna go get my own money. But that, by the way, support the show on Rumble, y'all. Support me on Venmo. Support the show on Rumble. If you got you can support the show directly with a Rumble chat. But anyway, the whole point I wanted to make though is that this whole issue was like black female promotion. It's one of those things that one, it destroys the concept of nobility at its core because it creates disharmony between the men and the women. And then two, it kind of, you can't really have an active group. Not active isn't the right word, but I think I'm a settle back on the issue of disharmony between the men and the women. Yeah, because once you sort of draw this line between the men and the women like we have now, it decreases the functionality very, very much.
But the war is against men, even by older men. All boomer men hate younger men. The amount of times I'm gonna fight a boomer man is crazy. And like, you don't respect your elders. I'm like, you just disrespected everybody. I should kill you. But look. But it comes right down to that, right? So you have women trying to usurp you and men trying to help her, hoping that him being a ladies' man, even though he ain't gonna get no ass after she get your spot, it is going to give him more prominence.
That's the fucking Panthers.
You know, so Panther, same thing, right? So every movement, because only men create, then women want a female version of what men create, and but want men to build it for her and then give it to her. So
look at the WNBA.
Everything, bro. The sororities, the everything, bro. The Girl Scouts, everything. Girls really don't create anything. So what ends up happening is that black men have been conditioned for slavery because matriarchy is slavery, right? So everything they do is to promote the slavery that they're comfortable with, that they say that they hate. And when you really come through like, nah, man, you need to alpha people, man. You need to fight for your respect, get down and lay down. They're like, oh my God, you're toxic. But then you can't be noble. Because as Arcade said, that's who fights the wars.
Right.
King Leo is the one out there fighting the Crusades.
And that's what people really are uncomfortable with. It's this duality. And I suppose, the contradiction is a necessary thing, but it is a duality that must be maintained. The men who are in charge, that you want to be leaders and whatnot, that means they also get to boss the women around too. And the women are uncomfortable with that level of duality. Like, yeah, you get to be in charge, but that also means that you have to fall back. I have to be in charge of not only my domain, but you as a woman too. This is where I got in trouble with people all the time, or especially on the other panels I go to. But that is a sort of issue, and it's not even a duality per se, but women perceive it that way, like we're being some kind of hypocrites for wanting that to take the logic all the way to the point where it should go. It's actually not a duality, but only in the minds of women does it appear that way. And I want to address something because it's not just a women thing; it's a black thing as well. Ancient Future in the chat. He says, are you all astute in political and social mathematics? Because obviously you cannot add or divide, you dig? I'm curious what you mean about these things, because I think most of life is actually relatively simple. Few things are truly complicated in life. Most of life is relatively simple. You get up, you go to work, you do the basic things, right? But I don't know that Black America truly, and I'm assuming you're Black, Ancient Future. White folk
nobody cares about Black America anymore.
Well, white folk don't typically have a handle out loud like Ancient Future, so I'm assuming this is one of these pro-Black sort of handles. And I don't know that the pro-Black training, the thought training that you get in pro-Black America will allow you to grapple with these kinds of issues.
I have no idea what type of mathematics he's talking about. Anyway, what's going on,
What's going on, Snowman? We got Snowman on the panel too, y'all.
What's good, fellas? How you guys doing this fine Wednesday evening?
I thought about you earlier today, my Caucasian.
Pause.
That's not a pause.
Yeah, it is, dude. You thinking about
you made it weird just now.
One hell of a pause.
You just now made it weird. It wasn't even going to be weird until you said pause.
Yeah,
God damn it!
Say no dirty. Say no dirty.
No dirty.
Swiper, no swiping. That's what we at now. All right. But
But nah, man, what do you guys think? I'm just catching what you guys are talking about a little bit, but
Well, we're
sounds like
talking
Black
about
America's
affirmative
screwed.
action being ended, but we know
Yeah.
we start pontificating beyond that. But we're really talking about affirmative action. Does Black America need it? And then we started kind of peeling back the surface as to why it thought it needed it in the first place and all
It
that.
sounds like the lazy broke don't want to do nothing and have everything handed to them. Blacks are screwed.
Well, most of them work for the federal government, so I'm not really, upset about that.
Didn't he mention something about one? Isn't he doing away with welfare too?
He didn't go that far. Don't get all hyped now. Your racism is getting ahead of you, bro.
You don't want pitchforks. You don't want pitchforks.
Hey, dude, I want all people off welfare. All people.
You don't want pitchforks, firewoods, and weeds burning in the goddamn streets.
Hey, these motherfuckers need to start learning how to fend for themselves. They need to learn how to start growing vegetables, raising animals, and doing shit.
If America ended welfare tomorrow, Black folk would be most affected. White folk would be hit hard, but Black folk would be hit critically.
I don't know.
Latinos,
I'll be honest.
Latinos too, but I wasn't even really including them in the math. But yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I really honestly would like to believe that a lot of these people that are on welfare and because they're poor, that they'd be able to learn how to survive just because of having to deal with shit most people don't have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of got to already survive on their own. But I could be wrong. I mean, I was wrong. I've been wrong before about a lot of things.
I'll say this. I'll give you an olive branch. Marriage rates will go up. That's true.
Well, the child support thing is going to cause the marriage rates to go up.
But you would have to do it in segments. So like you have to kill affirmative action. So you don't have a bunch of fat Black chicks being firemen that can't do the job, and you'll be able to hire qualified people. And then after that, then you can wean people off. Because here's the problem. The problem is that it's slavery, and I respect slavery. I emulate it a lot. So there's a salary cap, right? So they can't make more than whatever, 1,600, 2,000 a month, whatever it is, or they lose their services, right? And then it's income based. So it incentivizes you to make less money to get more benefit, right? So you would have to have a weaning process of people being able to like maybe lift the cap or something like that in order for them not to be homeless at the shutdown, because there's nobody gonna take these project chicks, bro.
Well, my question also, with all these executive orders that Trump just signed, what do you think the chances are that he's going to be able to get any of them codified to where they can't be overturned?
Well, first of all, I think he's just doing it Fed right now, though. If it's an executive order, I think it's just like federal workers, the post office, stuff like that.
Well, no, because it's not really a law. That means the next guy can just undo it. And so if we get another Republican in there, it might be safe for a little while still, but it needs to be a permanent
But it's
law
still only safe at a 4-year. If you want to be realistic, all these executive orders are only safe for a 4-year clip. That's it.
Right.
Okay. I don't say it like this though, Snow. I hoped that Trump got in. You have a 4-year run. If like that, what would you do if you had 24 hours to live? Question, right? If you only have,
I would go get me I'd get a one of them kiddie pools and fill it with cocaine and swim in that shit.
All right, you got 4 years to do that then, right? So whatever you want to do, you have to have it done within the next 4 years, right? I got to get the tribal designation done, lock down a small town. We got to ride around. That's why I thought about you, man. My Google alert came. I had a date that we were supposed to go down like Southern Illinois and steal shit, and we missed the date, but the alert popped up. I'm like, I was supposed to go with
Dude, it's too fucking cold to go do anything right now.
I know, right? The alert just popped up, bro. That was like from May. It just popped up today.
Damn, and it's just now telling you.
Hey, bro, whatever. So
your alerts even run on colored people time?
I don't have my calendar up.
That's messed up, dude. I've never had a computer algorithm run on black people time. That's crazy.
No, blame it on the fact I don't check my notifications.
And what's white people time?
We are on time and poignant. That's what white people time is. That's what's considered. That's why it's considered white supremacy.
Blackers like nothing to do with time. You just put the word in there.
You are a fibber. You are a fibber, sir. You are a fibber.
Well,
It's not even
look, I
gymnastics.
still don't. Well, look, I don't even know if I'm white or black anymore. You guys got me confused.
You
Um,
confused yourself.
I know, right? I know you are a token white friend. Now you think you're colored. Look,
No, he's Steve Martin character from the movie The Jerk. He grew up as a poor black boy.
I did.
we'll go with
And it's so funny. All your friends are white adjacent black men.
I know, right?
So confusing. I respect it. I get your confusion.
yeah, it's like Soul Man. Remember that movie Soul Man? The white dude tried to get an affirmative
Well,
action to get to college, and he painted
there's
himself
so many
black.
different types of blacks too, man. There's cool ones, and then there's asshole ones. And I ended up managing to finding all the pricks when I first got on YouTube. Thank God Hood came and saved me. You know what I'm saying? He's like, look, this area over here ain't for you.
See, I just wasn't pressed about being cool with everybody. So, lucky for you.
Yeah. He taught me the ways of the Sith Lord to stop giving a fuck what people think.
Yeah, it really helps, bro. Because apparently, based on YouTube algorithm, I'm just a hood booger, a wife beater, or something. I hear a lot of stuff about myself.
Well, you're gay
That's
too.
why I bought a new channel now. I gotta rejigger the algorithm. I gotta renigger it.
These ass clowns on YouTube, Google, they put me in little YouTube jail. Then they paroled me and gave me a little probation. Then they put me back in jail because I don't know, maybe I sneezed wrong or Jay walked on these YouTube streets, and they put me right back in with my little video, trying to give me a strike and whatnot, only to parole me again. Now I'm up here on the panel with y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, subscribe to my backup channel, the O Files.
So you YouTube black, you a YouTube felon. All right, on YouTube probation. All right.
I don't even know what laws I be breaking, man. They just be running down on me.
Hey man,
that's the YouTube prison pipeline right there.
They know I'm an American douchebag. This is what I do.
I don't know, man. I know I'll never make a video about Megan Thee Stallion again. Every time I say her name, I get flagged. I'm like, who's her handler?
I'm trying to figure out why you guys even refer to that as a her. I mean, a stallion is a male horse. That thing is literally telling you that it's trans.
It's just a name. We have
no,
to
that is really creatively, openly telling all of you guys that it's trans, and you guys are drooling over.
If that's a male horse, I'm okay with that being a male horse. I'm not trying to jump on it. I'm not riding this horse.
So Torrey Craig of NBA fame is dating a man right now.
Look, man, everything. He probably a single mother kid. Look, bro.
You right.
I am. How'd you know?
Yeah, and that's what makes you black adjacent.
Yep.
I came from a 2-parent household, but it don't count though, because my dad a boomer. So it's like
I'm still trying to determine whether or not you're the ops. Your family's friends with the Clintons and shit. So
with the Rodhams, bro, not the Clintons.
Same fucking thing,
That's
dude.
even worse.
That's even worse, really.
Hey. Right, Bill ain't never did nothing to nobody.
All Bill did was get his dick sucked. You got Hillary out here trying to murk people.
Hillary dad didn't murk anybody. He just steal money, bro. He ain't murk his daughter wild.
American man, what's good, bro?
Hey, Hood, you say you don't know what you did, right? Watch it. Let me ask you a question. Is Jason Black still monetized?
Is he? I guess.
Probably so.
Because, I was monetized years ago, and it just went away one day, and I really don't know why. This is before I said anything about hats. All I used to do was talk about women in politics, bro, and it was like the most innocent thing. I hadn't even reached my final form yet. And now that I've got so comfortable just speaking freely on YouTube, I don't even know if I can pull back to monetize this new channel, but I'm going to try.
But here's the point that I'm making, right? Here's the point that I'm making. You claim you don't know why you're not monetized. I know why, right?
Hell, I know why.
But
your mama black.
But here's the thing. Jason Black is still monetized. And I say that to show you, right, that when you sitting there screaming all that white supremacy and all that bullshit, nobody gives a damn because it doesn't mean anything. But when you start noticing, you got to get up out of there. Jesse Lee Peterson isn't monetized, right? Now, Jesse Lee Peterson is a case to be studied, but also, right? What's his shtick? Fatherhood, fathers and manhood, and all of that stuff. And he ain't monetized. right?
That's
And
what
he
I think
ain't
I got to do.
monetized.
I think that's what I
So
think I got to do. I got to talk about safer issues. It's mostly going to be women, and like celebrity junk.
You need to
I'm
start
only
talking
going to
about
do
gays,
light
women, and
politics.
Just
felons.
be like a
No, I don't
Robert
even want to talk
Rivera.
about the gays. No, it's going to be celebrity stuff.
Just be like a
you
Robert
just can't
Rivera
listen,
from
right?
yesteryear.
Listen, if you want to win, Hood, you just can't notice. That's it. Just don't
I
notice.
know. I'm going to stop noticing.
Like,
Oh.
don't be smart. Just say a bunch of nigger babble, and you'll be
Whoa,
fine.
that was the hard R.
Hard on. That's why he can't get monetized. Stuff like that.
See?
Look,
See?
Oh, you know what? Sorry, Hood. My bad.
Right.
My bad,
That's
bro.
that's one of those signals. If you're comfortable with the hard R, you probably been noticing. That's why.
Look, bro. We'll work it out. I
If
look
you're
at it. Look at
comfortable with the hard R, you've probably been noticing.
Right.
here's my thing, and I like the photo that.
Why do I feel like you just came from a Klan rally?
Bro, because I'm so immersed in this world.
I would like to say, Hood, that this fashionable COVID mask wearing young lady and her cohorts is what I'm saying about all these movements. Nothing but black women. I don't even think the white guy in the back right and way back the back left. I don't even think he part of it. I think he's just walking past.
Oh, you talking about that white guy back there with the sunglasses?
Right, I think he's just walking past.
That's a cop.
All right, and then
he screams cop.
Then I don't know if that's a black or white or Latino on the back right with the camera.
Does it matter?
Not really. He's gay. I know he's gay just because he's there, right? And that's your movement, right? So what happens is this is what men do. Men do a great job producing and manufacturing things, right? Intellectual property, goods, services, right? We're not the best at marketing what we make, right? It's like men buy a house, but women make it a home because
that's what we got women for.
Right. So when women go off on their own with their dumbass adventures, they make it look pretty. They interior decorate bullshit, right? And then they make it a movement. They go to the radio station, they go to the TV station, they yell, they organize little marches in the middle of the streets to mess up traffic
for abortion and shit.
Right. They do all that. And they get Saucy Santana, they get a gay dude to co-sign them. And then they make
Perez Hilton and shit. Yeah.
Right. They become the squeakiest wheel, right? Because it doesn't matter if it's good attention or bad attention. Towers just want attention, right? And that's why their cause gets noticed, but nobody cares. They just want girls to shut up. And this goes up to what Hood taught you. If you don't listen to them because they got clothes on and you just hear white noise, they'll eventually go to sleep. You ever let your baby just cry itself to sleep like you're not wet?
I do that to the wife all the time, dude. Once I took your advice and stopped having conversations with her when she was had clothes on and just started doing it when she was naked, dude, things got a lot better. I mean, it was already gravy, but man, things are even more gravy.
Yeah, you got to give yes, no, one word answers when they have clothes on.
This white noising, bro. And that's your wife. At least you sleeping with her. You love her. Think about these strange women I'll never meet. Why do I care?
I grew to love her though.
Well,
Well, hold on. We were talking about affirmative action before you guys get all emotional and shit.
Yeah.
And
I just wanted to point out that with that I don't think me or the wife actually either one really we didn't get married because of love.
We don't want to talk about how you love your wife, though. That's kind of the point.
But I will say,
hold on. Yeah.
Go ahead.
We would talk about affirmative action stuff, and this is loosely related to the concept, but it's a little bit of a tangent.
They say marketing.
We were talking about like black mythology stuff earlier. Like black folk, we tell ourselves all these lies about history, and as a black man, that's hard enough to deal with, right? Because I did the whole thing about community mythology and Yakubian history and the power of melanin. I've explored a lot of this black mythology.
Oh, I would have loved to have known you when you were underwater basket weaving.
Oh, bro, I did a lot of content back. Yeah, it was great stuff. You just weren't really listening to the channel that heavy. But here's the thing, though. It's not a black subculture anymore. It's gone mainstream. They are teaching black people that we were all these different people that we couldn't have been. Like my worst example is the show Vikings. I used to watch Vikings on History Channel, right? And I don't think I've ever seen an actual black person on the show Vikings. There was one Asian chick who was like a slave, so it made sense. Like they just grabbed this random slave out of
I was
France
gonna say if
somewhere.
there was one, he was a slave.
Right. And I didn't see no black people, right? And then Vikings moves to Netflix, right? They pick up the series and started like 2 decades after it all ended or whatever. And they got all these new people. And there's a character, Vikings is loosely based on real Viking characters, right?
Yeah, Eric
And
the
so
Red.
there's a guy. Yeah. There's a guy on the Netflix show, Harold something or other. He was like the king of Norway at the time. They turned him into a black woman.
Say what?
Are you fucking serious?
I swear to God, they took his character and transmogrified the character into a black woman.
So you
And
not
so
only
now,
did revenge and cultural appropriation.
not only did they do that, but they're taking a show that's history and injecting black people where they ought not be. And I think that's a very dangerous thing to do to actual history. And it's for no other reason to like big up black people and to diminish white people at the same time. And I want to share something with you guys, if you don't mind. Let me drop this banner.
DEI Vikings, man. DEI Vikings.
Well, look,
Let me just say this real quick, right?
Hold on. Let me go back to this right here.
But I actually think it's more diabolical than just injecting this just to mess with white people.
It's twofold.
I refuse to believe. I refuse to believe that it's just they're doing this just to make white people upset. No. That's not how like governments and countries and like places work.
Oh, they're trying to rewrite history, literally.
No. There's always a diabolical reason behind it. Like, and this just saying, oh, they did it because they want black people to feel good and white people to feel bad. Like that's
like Halle Berry with Billy Bob Thornton.
Well, look, you look at this picture that Hood's got up here right now, and you go by the narrative that's been being pushed for probably about the last 5 to 10 years. Four for real good measure that I know of, where they're trying to say that, all these great nations across the globe, like Rome and England and, even Scotland, Ireland, even America, even as far as Russia and Asia and shit, that they all were initially ran and founded and started by black people.
Did you know that the samurai were black?
My problem with that.
Can you?
If I can't, can I finish? Can I land and then you can jump in?
Only I can cut him off. Go ahead, Snowman.
My problem with that is if that was true, why is it every other piece of land on the globe is a developed nation except for Africa?
Well, the Moors.
Okay. Well, listen, Snowman.
The Moors are real.
Well, yeah, the Moors thing. Oh God, don't get me started on the Moors. Don't get me started on the Moors. That Moor thing irks the hell out of me because black people put so much spirit into the Moors, and we really desperately want to believe that the Moors were some kind of like really darker than peanut butter black, like Congo type black people.
The Moors are like the Knights of the Round Table.
Not even. Let me explain.
No, I'm saying as far as like mythology goes, it's just a good.
No, well, yeah. For the black mind, it's something akin to that. I think I see what you're trying to say, but no, it's actually so far away from that reality that it's pitiful. The fact is, North Africa was a Christian territory. That's a reality. North Africa was a Christian territory before Islam was even a thing. Christianity had spread that far. That being said, the lands in North Africa that were worth conquering, that's why it went from Egypt all the way to Morocco. The Muslims came in and they conquered all those territories that used to be Christian. So they pretty much wiped out most of, if not all of the Christian population. Even now, to this day, you have Coptic Christians in Egypt. They somehow survived that whole thing. But generally speaking, they wiped out everybody. And the
Let
people
me
they
jump
didn't
in here
wipe
real
out,
quick.
1 second, the people they didn't wipe out, they converted. And so my great issue with the Moors is any black people, any legitimate black people who actually wound up as Moors, it's because of conquest. It wasn't like you just joined a great basketball team. Like, no, your people got conquered, and now this is what y'all got to do. Plus, most of you niggas was actually like the equivalent of slave soldiers.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Okay.
and even to
Hold
the
on, real quick. I just want to say this, just quick little side note. That's why you're not getting monetized, Hood, because that's not nigger babble. You're
Well, if
doing
it,
it wrong.
there you go.
I
wait, wait,
can't.
wait, wait.
Again.
Damn, for real. That's what I about to. Okay, okay.
I ain't gonna
I
get
am.
monetized now.
No.
Shit.
No. I am monetized, and I've given not only that, but shown the maps and everything on that exact same thing before I even knew you, Hood. I did that show. Like, man, y'all know it. Like Morocco's a place, but they're Moroccans. They're not Moors. Like, bro, y'all know y'all was just like some nigger farmers, bro. Like, y'all really went on nothing. But you can't tell people. And even if they were, let's say that all the Moors were everything they say they were, right? They were the navigators that found America, right? That would make you the oppressor. So how you gonna still go off the sovereignty if you were the conqueror
Right.
in
You
your
don't you
mind?
love conquering when
And
you
that is a
allegedly
B
taught the
dub.
white man. When you allegedly taught the white man how to bathe and all that, conquest and slavery was cool. But when you was on the opposite end and you took an L, you want to have a lifelong march protest about it. Oh, come on, man. Stop.
Yeah, and you getting the
Hey,
B dub more fuel to the fire when she said that you have been conquered. Damn.
And then
Well,
not only this too. Let me add another. Since you know I'm threatening my monetization over here already. Let's keep going. I can't help but to be me. I'm only everywhere I go. I'm gonna be me. That's my problem, and I'm gonna just carry that cross. But that's real nigga shit, right? But here's the deal. The thing about Mansa Musa. I know, right? He's the king of nigga dreams. Now, Mansa Musa, he was a legit character. I'm not taking away from his mythology with the gold and being wealthy. I'm not taking away from none of that. But there's a legend that Mansa Musa's predecessor, like his father or something like that, actually sailed across the Atlantic Ocean and they made it over here basically before Columbus, right? Now that's a whole story unto itself. I had a whole back and forth with somebody about this on YouTube and on Twitter once. And the
well, the
theory
Vikings were
is
here.
that, well, I'm
Yeah.
not even getting into that because there's so much evidence of Viking stuff that it's literally been suppressed. But I'm not getting into that because I'm knee deep in all this history stuff. That's what I
Right.
listen to when I'm not on YouTube. So the Moors, not Moors, the Mansa Musa guy. This is the story. He goes to Mecca on his pilgrimage, and he tells the people in Mecca that one of my predecessors sailed across the ocean and never came back. Now, that's the story that all these black folk, they spawn. That's the kernel of truth that I can determine so
I
far
have not
that
heard
all
this.
this is spawned off of. And here's my problem with this whole issue, right? Sailing, and SKC in the chat, I know you can appreciate this. Sailing in and of itself is a culture unto itself, right? If you are a part of a people who like actually sail, you live on the water, it becomes a part of who you are as a people. You start to have mythology about the water. You start to have, tales, adventures about great people who did this on the water. And so my problem with the Mansa Musa thing is you need to tell me that you had this king right before Mansa, who was the richest nigga ever. Right before him, you had this king. Everybody got into the boat and they sailed away. And you guys forgot how to sail. You forgot how to build boats after that. You never got back on a boat after that ever again. You just
Yeah,
let him
because
go and nobody went to look for him.
the guy that knew how to build boats left.
Right,
He was on the boat. He was on the boat.
There's one huge glaring hole in that whole story. Like, so y'all niggas just fuck the water after that, right? Like, he
Now,
never came back. That was a sign. We got to stop fucking with this
He was
water
like
shit.
everybody else from the hood, man. He learned how to do some shit and left.
That's crazy work. You know what? You know what? Talcum X, that was a good one. I'm not even gonna be mad at you. You know what though? This is a real Mansa Musa story. Without Mansa Musa, there are no Black Moors. Because Mansa Musa took the pilgrimage to Mecca. He wanted a discount on trading. He went like 500 deep on 10 on 1,000 camels. Spent so much money. He caused inflation that didn't go down for 10 years. When
Right.
when they saw how much guap that dude was holding, he was like
I
he
don't
was
know.
like eight.
I even think that's questionable.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no,
even
no,
trying to.
Another
I'm not
no,
even
no.
going there.
that sounds like
I'm just talking
another
about the water.
fantastic Negro
No, no,
thing.
no. Check it out. He spent so much guap. He was like a 1980s crack seller, right? He had so much jewelry, so much guap. People like, yo, we gonna rob his ass. And they came and raised the old top of Africa to get to his stash. Like, oh, you holding like that? You golden like that? All right. Where you live at? Hey, follow that nigga home, man. And that's what happened. I
That's
believe
what
he got.
I believe that too. That's what really happened. They
I believe
came
that's why
ran down
Like,
on.
fuck
he
you.
got ran down
You
on.
got no, that's fucked up. That's why he never went back
Listen,
to Mecca.
I'm not. But like, think about that for a minute. Like, how? So me to tell me you had all this money, you ain't build another boat, you ain't send nobody around the coast, nothing. You just stop fucking with the water totally. Like, that's what killed me about the whole Mansa Musa story. Like, yo, it was just between the Moors and that. That's why you can't really trust Black history, man, because niggas be lying for clout, bro. That's what Black history really is. A bunch of lies for
We
clout.
was kings though. We was
We
kings.
was kegs, bro. We was kegs like a motherfucker.
We was
Man, if
crazy.
everybody was kings, that means none of you guys were shit then.
But bro, don't worry about that part. Just roll with it, bro. We was kings.
No, if everybody's kings, then no one's a king.
I know, man. Who's the peasants? Who's the servants? I get it, bro. We was kings. Look,
That you see, now we back to this nobility thing. Don't nobody want to be the peasants. Everybody want to be noble.
I'm okay with being a peasant. Leave me the fuck alone.
we not gonna worry about that. Keep the taxes low. That's what we asking for now, right?
Nobles
Keep the
have too
taxes
much.
low.
Nobles have too much shit on their plate. I don't need that.
Too many
That's too much
responsibilities.
for real. That's exact. Way
Now,
more responsibility than I need.
now I'm comfortable with it personally, but I've also
Bad
been
enough. I'm responsible for 3 kids.
now I've been responsible for whole tips, but I'm cool with it personally. But what people don't understand is to be the man. Everybody want to be the man. To be the man doesn't mean you're the most popular. It means that you're the man that's responsible for other men to feed their family. And that's responsibility. That's what a king is. That's what a noble is. The man responsible to other men so those men can go and feed their kids.
No, you're the man that's responsible for taking the blame for when shit goes wrong.
That too, but that's every man. Every man is that man. It's all men's fault.
No, that's when I let the wife be the man. She can be responsible for that shit.
Bro, every man's that man except boomers. Boomers blaming their kids. But besides that, though, generally speaking, every man's that.
Real quick. I want to play this video about the Moors.
When the Moors had their Moorish empire, the Europeans were paying tribute to the Moors.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what? The Moorish Empire?
The Europeans were doing.
Yeah, Dave would love this.
Yeah, where's General Dave?
You know, when they couldn't pay the tribute to the Moors, which is the finances, like the gold or silver, whatever that was available, they started giving their women to the Moors. And I think the biggest mistake happened to us as Moors is we started laying down with those women. That was the downfall. That was one of the downfalls of the Moors, is we started laying down with their women. All right, because
the white women ended the Moorish empire.
Well, first of all, I believe that women destroy everything that Black men do. I don't believe the story, but it's plausible.
You can't trust snow bunnies, man.
You can't trust Moors either, apparently.
You can't trust. Yeah. Okay, so paying tribute. They didn't have no money, so we didn't take over their land, right? The Moors
they started paying in women
in coochie. Like I don't have enough.
They started paying in vagina,
bro. This is the illmatic. What, they have a bunch of white vans like Snowman and just no windows, just riding around in FTF floors vans snatching. Look, bro.
But see, look, that's Black history. Now, real documented history, as far as people have been able to prove is that North Africa, like the Muslims of North Africa, have always been slavers. And so, as far as like, getting paid in white women, they didn't really get paid in women. They just went and took the women. So
That's real man right there.
listen.
That's real man right there. You got it right.
America's first naval encounter or our first foreign military engagement as an official country was over in Libya, the seas of Tripoli, the shores of Tripoli. That we had to go over there and fight Muslim slavers because they was taking our people, and we can't let that happen.
We created the Navy. Andrew Jackson created the Navy just to go to Tripoli and get they chicks back.
That was Andrew Jackson?
Andrew Jackson, man.
There you go.
The same Andrew Jackson that shut down the Second Federal Bank, the same Andrew Jackson that knocked up that poor little black girl 9 times.
Which money is it? He on like a 20 or
20. He on
he's 20. On a 20. If you notice too, he's the only one. He's also facing the opposite of all the other presidents.
Because he don't deal with them old bootlickers, bro.
Yeah. They try to shit every white man in history. They try to shit on. You got to look at him closer. There's a reason they don't want you to like this nigga.
The only thing Andrew Jackson did that I'm kind of against is the whole Jacksonville thing. How he killed all the natives and the colors, and
they had to go.
But he invaded.
You want to make an omelet or something, man?
Right. But he invaded.
Ugly. I'm not giving him a pass. I'm just saying.
They just burned down 2 states. All right, within the last year. So one little town, I'm okay with.
No, the reason that I don't like it, number one, it was foreign land. It was still owned by France. But number 2 is because Marshall, what's his first name? The Chief Justice John Marshall.
Mathers.
No, John Marshall, the first Chief Justice ever, the first Supreme Court ever, told him, man, don't take your ass down there. And he said, yo, John Marshall has the law, but I have the guns. Let me see him enforce it. And he went his ass down there, which was gangster. Like he was really like Capone.
That's
before
real
Capone.
Gangster right there. That's OG.
Like he was gangster in everything he did, man. Had shootouts with the bankers and everything. He was gangster. He made boats. America didn't have.
He probably threatened. He probably threatened his way into getting voted into office.
America didn't have a navy. He killed a dude. He was Bobby Womack. He killed a dude, took his wife, and then shot his way to the presidency, bro.
I got answered. I want to hit this last issue before we get out of here. Ancient Feature in the chat says he was saying a lot of things. Let me read all your comments real quick. He says, and they seek to invade Africa, but the plan was to get as many black men and boys as humanly possible, so there would be minimum resistance in America. Okay, I don't know what that's about, but then later on he says,
a billion people out there.
Yeah, he says Africa now has nuclear power plants. Africa now has weapons manufacturing sites. Now, you might have weapons manufacturing, but what country in Africa has nuclear power plants? Somebody help me out.
Probably the ones that the Asians came, the Chinese came over and built.
And I don't even know if that's true, but if it is true, China did it. China owned it, and they probably
because did China build some nuclear power plants down in South Africa?
I don't even think China's that reckless.
No, China built airports down there, airports and shipping yards that Africa didn't pay for. Then China seized it back and foreclosed on the airport. I say, yo, that's gangster too. Pay your bills, Africa. Do you know the craziest thing about African history, bro? Most of the things that black people celebrate about African history are really Greeks and Arabs.
Yeah,
I know
this. But that's how we started down this part of the show, because black people swear they was Greeks or whatever. First, the Greeks came to learn from the Egyptians, who was black, but now we was Greeks too.
Every race comes from black people. Black people are the only people on the planet that can create every race.
I'm with that, bro. I'm with that.
And man, get down without YouTube.
I know, right? Because black it's magic in black vagina, bro. It has the ability to make everything disappear. Fathers, melanin, money, everything, bro. Black vagina.
Futures, hope, luck.
Politics.
Holy shit.
America. All these bitches.
Ukraine. It's literally a black hole.
Straight men.
The black hole.
I'm telling you can lose anything down there.
You know what I'm saying? It make everything disappear. They only got one trick, and it's disappearing that. They don't even know how to make it reappear.
Hey, is the reason why the hotels call it the Yanni verse? The Yanni?
Wow, that's crazy work.
God.
That's crazy work. And this is why
see, that's the new Hotep wisdom I don't know yet.
He said now the Arabs are in Egypt. The Arabs have always been in Egypt, bro.
What do you mean now the Arabs on Egypt? What do you think this is like 700 AD, bro? The Arabs have been in Egypt for millennia at this point.
I thought they were always in Egypt.
This is why I could believe, even though I still don't think the Pharaoh was black. This is why I would say the Pharaoh was black. And I got to get credit. Where's the credit to Gorilla Pete? He's like, man, you know how you know that Egyptians was black? I said, how? He said, because Moses saved them from slavery, and the first thing they did was slept with each other wives and killed each other and stole they friend bread, and then they tried to run and then ran back and say, I want to be a slave again. Only black people have run back to slavery, man. You know they was black. The first thing they wanted to do, like
that wasn't the Pharaoh. That wasn't the Pharaoh. Those would have been the Jews allegedly. But that's a whole other story. I'm not even going to lose my monetization handling that one. I'm not even going to prove to you that I think.
Just appreciate the
listen,
joke.
listen.
We know what
I'm
it
not
is.
on Rumble only.
Hey, it's a joke, bro. Appreciate the joke. That wasn't even a historical fact.
Nah, you just reminded me of some deep lore most people not even hip to yet. Like, bro, there's so many lies. There are lies on top of lies, woven into lies that are wrapped around other lies that have been baked in the oven of hot lies, bro.
Yo, on that note, I'll say this real quick. There are some writings, of course, you'll never see. But there were some writings by a man that had a mustache, and one of his questions was, "How did these people leave dark and come back pale?" Hey, he was baffled by that.
See, man, y'all gonna have me going back. Y'all gonna make me go back to the old me. I'm trying to be a good guy.
Be a
but
good
see,
guy.
That's the thing, though. That so much history is so much bullshit, man.
You ain't even gonna make it to the end of Black History Month before we call you.
Look, no, this is what you need to.
I was supposed to be playing a video, matter of fact.
You better ask.
Play the video. Play the video. Back away. Back away.
Let Dirty keep you on this trying to play the video.
No, I'm trying to help.
Who would call Alliance or misnomer today as a white woman. They were in the thousands of Moorish harems. Just like you see King Solomon in the Bible, his harems, where the Moors were living out the same life of King Solomon. So they had thousands and thousands of women. So when the Moors went up into Europe, they slept with all these European women.
Word.
That's why niggas want to be Moors, bro. White pussy.
I thought that's why they wanted to play basketball. I mean, both could be true.
Niggas only want to be Moors because they knew they had white bitches, bro. I swear to God.
Bro, you know the illest thing, bro? Because I often call my dad, no, I don't know his name. I don't know what I call my dad. I call myself Unconquerable. For those who ever read the book Things Fall Apart, Unconquerable has
Achibe. I read that. They made us read that in high school.
Yeah, it's a good book, bro. It's a slow read though. I read the clip notes. It was better.
I read the book because I was a student. God damn it!
I had to read the Pearl. Don't feel bad. The whole thing was Unconquerable was the son of a coward and an alcoholic, right? So basically, he was Gen X, right? Son of a boomer, right? And he rolled for his village, and as soon as he left for a minute, they sent some white women down there. All the black guys in this village wanted the white women. All the black girls wanted the white women hair. The white women said, you know what? You can have my body and my hair if you take Jesus. Hold on, I'll be right back. Came back with some dudes with more Bibles and more guns. Unconquerable come home like, what the hell? Y'all worshiping a different God? Where all these crackers come from? Kill one of the crackers like, let's ride. And everybody like, we ain't riding, bro. We Jesus now. We love Jesus. And he killed himself. But that's the fate, though. So you can yell this pro-black and we was kings all you want. If you actually try to ride, you'll be riding by yourself. Because you can't try based on a crayon. There's no crest, no code, no creed to a crayon.
You're right.
You know, that's another thing about Africa. And this is one of those points that the pro-blacks don't really care to acknowledge. Africa wasn't totally conquered like militarily. It wasn't that difficult. I mean, it was literally bread and Bibles, bro. That's what that book of Things Fall Apart kind of boiled down to. Don't get me wrong, there was some trickery, there was some shenanigans. Like we hit you with these bread, we give you these Bibles, we teach you how to read the Bible, we give you this free bread, and now your land belongs to us. Like there was some treachery in there too, but it wasn't just straight up like conquest. Like it wasn't that.
No, it was America wasn't conquest. As much as they
Yeah.
talk about it, America was a lot of the thing about Native Americans, which is, I'm gonna say black people are natives. I would go there before I say we African. Native Americans were a matriarchal group to the point that you even took your mom's surname when you got married, right? Or your wife's surname rather, right? So when America came, America did come with the trickery of land rights, right? Because there was no concept of owning land. That's how they got Manhattan for a couple of pearls, right? But then when the natives found out what land rights were, they owned the land. So what Europeans would do is just marry tawny chicks, right? I ain't gonna call them black, whatever, brown skinned chicks. They just married the tawny chicks.
I got one last line on that too. That's pretty good.
You know what I mean? And that's it, bro. So really, they conquered America with pink penis. And better farming.
We were talking about blacks being Moors and all this fantastical stuff. Black people being Indians, right? We were Moors, we were Greeks, we were Egyptians, and we were Native Americans too. We were already in America pre-slavery, right? That's the narrative, right? And I heard somebody pointed out a story that actually makes perfect sense. And I've never really thought about the simplicity. It's so simple, it's beautiful. And this kind of gives a practical explanation to why so many black people actually do believe we're Native Americans. A lot of black women were having little light-skinned mixed babies with the white man that they couldn't necessarily own up to. And so instead of owning up to it, they just, started saying that, you got Indian in your blood. And this is where the black Indian lineage really comes from. Because truth be told, most of us have actually seen what Native Americans truly look like. They don't look like white people. They certainly don't look like Africans. And so for like regular black Americans to say that we were them, it's hilarious. But it does make sense from a black American perspective. Like, let's say after slavery, especially after like the 1900s, yeah, if you was one of these women in some small town, you had a baby with a white dude, you couldn't necessarily own up to that. But that little red bone baby, if you start telling people, well, no, she had Indian in her blood, she looked just like my grandmama Bessie. Bessie was Cherokee, and that's how the lie is born.
I like that lie better. Look, if I have to believe in a lie, let me down a lie that makes sense, right? So, because here's what doesn't make sense to me. If I own a business in LA that needs marginal workers, McDonald's, right? I own a McDonald's on Crenshaw and Slauson. I'm not going to import low-skilled workers from Flatbush, New York, all the way to Crenshaw and Slauson to work. I would normally get somebody in the area I'm in, right? So it would make more sense for that. Plus, most of the 20th swarthy people in America weren't slaves. That's another narrative. They were like, all this was slave. No, we weren't. New York exists, Boston exists, Illinois, the Missouri territories. Like half America was fighting against slavery. Like, I don't know about that one, right? So you have all these dynamic lies on top of lies, right? Go back to your analogy that grandma said I got Indian in my family. I heard that when I was a kid. I'm thinking about Miko dipping, like, yo, was Miko really part Indian? Anyway.
it makes more sense than you was nah, come on.
I'm rolling with you though. I'm rolling with you, right? So even when you peel back the lies on top of the lies, right? You still have to come to a comfortable truth. This is the real problem. The problem is not the mythology, right? Because it doesn't matter where you're from. Everybody's from somewhere else, right? The problem is, why are you a victim in all of your stories? When you tell a story, you're either the hero, the villain or the victim. And normally you're not the villain in your own story.
That's Schroeder's. That's Schroeder's feminist being applied to the community,
But
sir.
that's anything, bro. But that's everything, bro. I'm the hero or the victim of all of my stories, right? Now somebody else made me the villain of the story because one side's hero, the other side's villain. I get that. But you're going to be the hero or the victim of your story. Why does every colored story start with the origin of, and then we got our ass beat? Slavery, we got our ass beat. Moors, we got our ass beat.
Well, honestly, I think it's okay to be, well, not okay, but I think it's equally valid to be the villain in your own story at times as well. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Black folk don't like to acknowledge villains in the story sometimes too. That's what the Moorish thing is about, right? You were part of all the conquest and pillage. That's what Moors did, right? You thought it was just a friendly Bible mission. Like, no, it was out there taking hoes and then knocking down castles.
They don't know what Moors are, bro. So they really think that Moors are just like dudes on a cruise. Like, man, we popped up, was like, what's up? They were like, hey, you want Manhattan? I'm like, yeah, what's poppin'?
Right. Like all the white girls just wanted to roll with you.
And that, so they think they're the hero of that story too,
right? And that's why I said the villain is an equally valid position.
But the villain, I'm the villain, right? I'm the villain. When I say try, but we'll just leave all the girls behind because they compromise. Let the Semites have the girls that they paying for. You know what I'm saying? Grab some motherfuckers, get some muskets. Ain't nobody gonna shoot you. If you're outside of Chicago or LA, you'll be all right. Like, take over a small town, start fresh. That is a whole different thing. People will hate you for that when you say, why can't the girls come? Because the girls gonna destroy it before it pop. Like they destroy everything before it pop.
That's
right. My gosh, you hate women. Because I'm okay, cool. I hate women. You gotta lean into it.
See, and that right there, that's where I was having an issue with Izzy earlier.
Hey, do y'all think I'll get monetized if I do a live stream? You know, an AMA say this do you think
breaking up too much? You was breaking up too much. I couldn't hear your question properly.
Are you really going to ask a question that doesn't have anything to do with what they were talking about?
Hold on, I wanted to say, Dirty. That was right where I had an issue with Izzy earlier, where I was just sort of laying out some simple realities issues with him, and he kept trying to throw nuance in, and I kept calling it poetry. Like, bro, you doing poetry, and I'm trying. I teach math. I don't teach poetry because math is how you have to understand the world. Poetry is for when you're trying to get some pussy or something. And he kept trying to introduce nuance, but I'm like, really, it's not a nuanced thing. It's mostly an either or. And this is where we right back to, like, if you bring the girls along, more often than not, you're going to have certain problems, right? You can't, quote, include the women the way you kind of framing it. Like, you want to bring women, it has to be like, you know, they got to be in a box or something, like literally like cargo or something. You can't just have them roaming on a deck of the ship. That's crazy talk.
That's great. And no conqueror ever did, right? They get coochie when they get there, right? Captain Cook just hit what, you know, hunt what, eat what he killed, eat what he hunt, how it go. You know,
right? You gotta live off the land, bro.
You gotta live off the land, man. Pop up in that boat with, you know, 20-inch paddles and like, yo, shorty, I got a boat. Your boy, he ain't even got a bike. I got a boat on 20s. They be like, oh my God, I love boats on 20s. And then you sleep with Hawaiians and then turn around and take it over, right?
It's hard to have that. It's hard to talk about that sort of spirit in black circles because they sound like the white man.
But then you just sound like a man. And that's my problem.
White man is the only man. I hate this shit, but that's kind of how it starts to play out.
That's why the rebrand is so needed, bro. Because that the implication, and you're right, the implication that you're acting white if you could read above a 5th grade level. Okay, I have a quick question for the panel. What grade were you in when your parents could no longer help you with your homework?
I don't think I've ever really gotten help with my homework. I was one of those kids.
I have. My friends and I were talking about that yesterday, and we're talking as early as 3rd grade, 2nd grade, right?
Yeah, I was about 3rd grade before my parents could.
So
my stepdad couldn't read past fucking like a 3rd grade level.
Right, but these were the first not DEI back then, but those boomers had high school diploma. Some went to college, still couldn't help you pass
trade. But some of them was in the trades too. Don't forget about that. They fucked up the trades too.
Right, but and still couldn't help you with 8-year-old math and science. And these are the people raising you to be better than what, right? So when you look at it like that and you say, yo, you can't, when I say things like you can't be black if you read above a 5th grade level, or if you think about, remember the Beverly Hillbillies? There was like Jethro got a 6th grade education. He was the smartest person in the family.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in
Boomer
that type of
generation.
when
Hey,
you're part of
Dirty.
that economy, it gets strange. What's up?
I believe that the boomer generation, unlike the other previous generations, they really took in the fact and probably really believed to themselves, like, how dare we raise up our competition and the ones that want to take care of us in the years
And that's
come.
exactly how they felt. And that's a female trait, but it related to the men, and that's weird about the boomers. That's why I call them androgynous, right? Women do that. A woman without a husband competes with her daughter for the same man. That's not normally what men do, but that's what it's become. The
How
no
come we
big home.
don't?
I don't compete with young about what? What am I
What?
competing with young dudes about?
Yo, pussy.
And that's nigga shit right
That's
there, bro.
nigga
This
shit,
is
bro.
why we're not gonna have no spaceship. This is why we're not gonna make it to Mars, because you
For
gotta
real,
compete
like
with youngins for pussy.
I ain't competing with them. First of all, they for everybody. But
I
second
mean,
of all,
look,
I don't know why everybody wants to go back to a planet we escaped from.
it's the point though. It's like nobody's shooting higher than their eye
then their
level because everybody's
genitalia,
looking at titties.
right, bro? I had that conversation. I told my boy, I said, man, look, because he said, man, you say men are awesome, right? I said, yeah. He said, but what about women? I said, man, they all right. He said, well, what if men aren't awesome? I said, well, if men aren't awesome, then women are horrible because men are better than women at everything. I said, let me ask you a question.
I can't argue that logic.
I said,
And
I
it
said,
gets darker, but continue.
I said, let me ask you a question, my friend. I'm talking to him. I'm like, let me ask you a question. If you had to take away vagina, what purpose would a woman serve in your life? Like conversation? They can't talk. Like cooking? Nah. You hang with chefs. Like what would a woman bring to the table if she didn't have vagina? You know what that motherfucker told me? They got titties though. I said, you know what? That's why I don't fuck with you, bro. That's why I
Well,
had to kill you.
if you keep them pregnant, those titties will produce milk.
Look, bro.
Back in the
No
ancient
vagina.
world, in the ancient world before we had any real modern conveniences, nothing worth building, nothing that we have to this day was built by women. And not only was it built by men, it most likely wasn't built by men who were chasing pussy. And the only reason I make that kind of stark observation is to point out the honed energetic, like the capacity that men have to harness our creative potential minus the female distraction is nearly like godlike. Like Michelangelo was not out there knocking them hoes down, bro.
We're just knocking them bros down, but I get what you're saying.
I mean, he might have, but that was a part of some gang shit.
He
Like,
was.
He was the original Jeff Epstein.
yeah, it was a cult thing. I think they had some stuff going on back then.
Call that man Jeff Epstein. That's wild. That's crazy work, bro.
I just call it how I see it, man.
That's
But
crazy.
nah, listen, we done went off into way too many tangents for tonight. I gotta wrap this one up. I gotta get out of here. It's getting late. I gotta go to work.
Man, you always end the conversation when we start having fun.
You know what though? All right. Let me ask you guys this though. Because when I tell people like you can change the world in 7 years, and they like 7 years a long time, I said, man, you've been marching 70 years because you won't listen to a 7-year plan.
Right. How long we been trying to save the hood with midnight basketball? These niggas still dying on the basketball.
Man, they've been trying to save the hood ever since they had burned down Tulsa and Rosewood and
They've been
North
trying to
Carolina.
save the hood. I'm gonna tell you when they try to save the hood. They've been trying to save the hood since all the married men listened to their black wives who wanted to roll with white men. Think about it. Integration was white people didn't integrate into the hood. Black people integrated to white communities, and there was not one single man, not like out of the relationship, right? There was no uninvolved black man that's like, you know what? I'm gonna move to a sundown town. It was always a dude with a goofy ass wife. Like, I want to move around the white people because the law said. And then he'd be like, "You sure? Yeah, baby, I saw the house. The neighborhood beautiful." Then he buy the house, and then 2 days later, it's a burning cross in his front yard.
Bricks being
You know
thrown
what?
through his
I was
window.
watching Black Superman the other day. I gotta finish watching that because that's exactly what that story was about. And I ain't never get. I only
Black
got like 20,
Superman.
30 minutes.
Oh, hold
It's an
on. Black
old.
Superman.
It's an old black exploitation movie, but I was watching it on YouTube the other
You
day.
have to give me the link for this.
Bro,
YouTube will be having movies on the low, but you gotta really look. They be like posting dope movies that only be up there for like 18
Yeah, I
hours,
know.
bro.
Bro, all I'm gonna say is this.
All you gotta type is black exploitation movies, black movies from the 80s, 90s, 70s.
Yeah, the old movies is up there though. Yeah.
Look, all I'm gonna say is this, and Talcum X right here can vouch for this. It doesn't matter if you black or white, Jew or Gentile.
Talcum X.
If you're a man, 80% of your problems started with a girl. Like, before you go on that trail of what happened, how you ended up in jail,
Dude, all of
your
my
story
problems
gonna
started with a girl.
Like, if you absent the girl, guys are really awesome, bro. Like, as much bullshit as they talk about prison, like, people kicking it down there, motherfuckers making best friends, they making tacos on the bed, they got Xboxes, they chilling. You put men together, they chilling. You put women together, it's a fight every day.
Yeah, well, new jail ain't like old jail too. That's a different thing.
Yeah,
Dirty. You've made tacos together with men on the bed.
I have not.
That's crazy work right there.
No, that's new jail. Listen, American man, there's no pause in that. That's new jail, bro. You don't even know what these niggas. These niggas got tablets in new jail, bro. These niggas eating street food in new jail, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, they got Grubhub in new jail. It's crazy, bro.
Bro, you don't even know.
I've never made tacos next to a man, so I don't understand that, bro.
Nah,
Like,
so,
that's
listen,
weird,
them niggas
bro.
that jail is jail. So listen, jail is its own universe. So like people in freedom wouldn't understand jail. But I've seen it, I've been in it, so I can understand it without I haven't done crazy time, but like I've been locked up a little bit. And so I know what jail is. And so the fact that niggas in jail is making tacos now, he wasn't making tacos when I was in jail, bro.
I was going to say they weren't doing that when I was in jail either.
Restaurant out in Philly, they actually make gourmet
jail food. Bro.
I did that on my show, bro. I showed them over here on one night.
Yeah. You showed it, yeah.
They making chi-chis and all that. It's crazy, man.
But you know what's so crazy?
And we lost Dirty.
Yeah. He went to go get some jail food.
You got him thinking about them jail breaks, man, and he started getting hungry.
What happened?
You got your jail food?
No, but you know what's so crazy?
Come in early, Dirty,
and Mr. O is my witness because he's been my Facebook.
You on the stream on a burner phone in the county, ain't you?
On the stream on a burner phone.
That's new jail, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
That's wild. But look, when like 15, that's how I was bumping all the chicks, bro. I had the magazine Convict Cooking. You know what I'm saying? I had all the model chicks. They was the pinup girls, PEN, pinup girls, and we was doing jailhouse recipes for people on the street.
Sir, those are not girls in jail. Those are guys that are dressed like girls using Kool-Aid for makeup.
Snowman don't even know, bro. Snowman just don't. That everybody in the street be thinking that is a bunch of gay stuff. Like, nah, bro. They just be buying hoes in that bitch sometimes, but not everybody can do it. That's the thing. Not everybody can do it.
But what's so crazy, bro? And like, I'm not even being an advocate for jail, but we all got that cousin that, you know, visit the world but live in jail. I got one of them, right? And he'd tell me about crazy shit. Like, he the first person that told me about the spitting the booty gang. I'm like, what's the spitting the booty gang?
Yeah.
They're like, they knock you out and they pull your pants down, spitting your booty. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Bro, quit going to jail, bro. Like, bro,
why would he even share that with anybody?
Bro, it's a jailhouse story. When people go to jail, they got to talk about their experience.
Wait a minute, he's trying to get
don't let two niggas that been in jail meet up on the street. Oh my god, you're gonna hear all the worst.
Dude, that's anybody that's been in jail meeting up on the street. My God.
You know what? I'm just gonna say thank God I never been a real nigga. I want to keep being a fake nigga my whole life.
You notice he didn't use the hard R on
enjoy that. I don't want that to do with being a real nigga. No, thank you. You have to keep all of that.
I ain't even mad at that, bro. I wish I could take it back.
Bro, the things you hear from niggas who keeping it real, bro, be bananas, bro. When keeping it real go wrong, it go all the way left, bro.
Dude, staying on code is some devious shit. I'm telling you.
It really is. It's the worst type of shit, bro. That's why I don't even care about that shit no
You know
more.
what? I'm gonna say this. I gotta go get some tequila, but I'm gonna say this though. What you repeat becomes a reality, right? Like you can hear a hook on a song, you know the chorus of the song. You hate the song, but you know the chorus, that type of thing, bro. For the last, and I gotta get SKC credit for this. For like the last 70 years, bro, all the songs is about different ways that men can die by sleeping with another man's wife. That was like the 60s through the 80s, right? Me and Mrs. Jones and all that, right? Then doing drugs, that was like late 70s to the late 80s, early 90s. And then like let's gangbang, right? Black people don't really have a positive story about themselves, bro. Like none of their stories.
I've noticed that also.
My favorite example of that, Beanie Siegel made a whole song about that. On Beanie Siegel's first album, y'all remember Beanie Siegel? On his first album.
His first album, of course.
Die. And that's to this day, that's my favorite song that he ever did.
That's my favorite song. Die.
It is, bro.
Hey man,
you know it's crazy you just said that. Hey, I said real fucked up in the context, but you just say that.
Right? Watch State Property, bro. Every time I think about that song, maybe want to watch State Property when you get arrested.
I think it was on the soundtrack, wasn't it? It was part of the movie.
It was the scene where he was getting arrested when they finally bumped and his bitch was acting so damn goofy and shit like that, and they had pistol whipped him on the way out the door.
Yo, but the song itself, right, is no real hook. I think it starts out with the hook and it ends with the hook, but it's just like 2-3 minutes of
live by the sword, you die by the sword, die.
And like every last song, all the ways you might die in the hood, and it's a crazy song. But you just reminded me of that because you were talking about how black music is like that, and it's a whole song of that.
I remember.
I'm gonna listen to that when we get out of here because that shit is ill too when I think about it. That's why it's my favorite song is "Die." Like it really is crazy. Like, but
and you know how they say be the change you want to see. I thought about that. I said, man, if we had to do a gospel album, it has to be uplifting. You'll probably create a whole different type of music. They'll probably use a whole different. Young people are really.
You know, Snoop did a gospel album.
So did Kanye. They don't count.
That sounds crazy. Sean 313 asked a question. Let me answer this question. We gotta get out of here. Hood, do you feel you were robbed of a better life by being tricked into pro-black and real nigga-ish? I don't feel robbed. Nobody robbed me, right? Nobody made me. Well, that's you. That's you. You tell your own story, but in my personal experience, I wasn't robbed. It's a Tupac song. I remember. Shorty want to be a thug. And that's just the reality of it. I made choices. I wasn't robbed, though. It wasn't like I absolutely had to sell crack. I wanted to learn the recipe.
Oh, you were a chef. You were a culinary genius. All right. I'll go with that. I was robbed.
More like a scientific genius.
I mean, everything, got to cook up something, bro. I get it. I mean, I feel robbed. And I'll tell you why I feel robbed. Now I'll tell you why I feel robbed. I'll tell you why I'm mad.
I've been there, Hood. I just got out of it fast enough. Let's go was coming. I paid attention and got up out of there, but I've been there.
That's when you're an adult, you get to make your own decisions. When you're a child, when you're an intelligent black child, you have no support. You better crack a joke or have a jump shot. You get no support when you're smart. The best thing you can hope for is some Jewish man sees your intelligence and rescues you from your parents. There's no support for all the boule stuff we talking. There's no support for your best and brightest. As a matter of fact, they get ridiculed.
Do you know what's interesting, Dirty? I had that very conversation about 3 weeks to a month ago with Blacks Who Defy. I said, I don't know if we're really looking around, but we need to pay attention to like why and how, like why all these young black males are crashing out. That's all they got. You can't be smart. You can't be upright. You can't be any of that. All you have is crashing out. And like you said, you better hope someone tries to come save you, because if not, you're up out of there. So you're correct.
What I'm
there is
what?
no support.
I think that's a great point to end because we were talking about affirmative action being over, and now shit about to get real for some people. So affirmative action is done. Black people most affected. Thank you guys so much for having this conversation with me today.
Well,
But I'm
hold
gonna
on.
end
I
the
thought
show.
I thought white women were the ones that benefited from affirmative action the most. So how are they not the ones that are affected?
I said that. I said that too. Talcum X.
You know why white women are not the most affected? I'll tell you why, Talcum X. I'll tell you why. Because I be amongst the white girls from time to time, right? And what I realize about white women is that they're only feminists until they like 20, 21. If they're late bloomers, 25. Like, so if they had to get a job in corporate America, they walking around the parking lot 50 times on their lunch break, hoping they can stay in shape to get a man, right? As a matter of fact, so they're always on the hunt for their provider. Like, in college,
I'm
they
gonna
want
make
to
it simpler, Dirty. They haven't lost the recipes. They still kind of have the I know how to get a husband culture.
right.
It's totally broken with black women, so they're gonna be struggling.
But look, the white women really aren't trailing far behind though now. I mean,
I accept that, but there's differences.
No,
I accept that.
there are slight nuances. You are correct. I'm just saying the white women, the options for white men that want to be with just white women are getting pretty slim now too.
But hold on. We can't keep stretching it out to overtime.
No.
American
Here's the
man,
thing
please
to end it
close it
on,
out.
Hood. Here's a good thing to end it on. Affirmative action is ending not because there's an issue with black people, but because affirmative action has become for everyone else except black people. And so now it's time to end it because black people decided to give it away.
I would argue.
Let me now I got to stretch it a little bit further in the overtime. No, let's get a little spicier. Listen, white people, white America. Hold on. Let me say this. White America was a lot more comfortable with affirmative action when there was only black people to give jobs.
Yes.
Not only that, it's getting to the point that the only people really being affected negatively are heterosexual white men. Black men,
that too.
Black men have been affected since the 1970s. Like white men are becoming
1866.
No, but white men are becoming the only quote unquote non-special group. Now you talking about the Jews are special group? Come on, man, quit playing with me.
Right, they just jumped in on it. They became minorities like yesterday. Like it's over. Like listen, we need to end this whole minority game. We got way too many people classified as minorities now, and they got money now. Got rich minorities. This shit's crazy.
Rich minorities is bananas. But you know what's so crazy?
I'm telling you, bro.
White men minus women, right? Take women out because everybody, fight you over their coochie, right? Because all fights start over vagina. But I have noticed at an early age, as young as 17 years old, probably before then, but didn't pay attention because it was classmates. But like in corporate America at 17 years old, I realized that white men don't hate black men because they're black. They hate them because they're dumb. Like if you're smart, they still look out.
Shut up, Snowman. That was the most racist yup I've ever heard in my life.
And I'm gonna stand on it, dude. I'm gonna stand on it. I agree with him.
You would agree with that. What about the implant part? Ain't you scared?
I agree with that.
It's over now. No. We're leaving now. It's over. Snowman has ended the show. Good night, everybody.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.